Now, be nice.
It's funny because my wife and I were just by the way, sorry for being late, everybody. I had a Zoom update to do that I did not expect.
Ooh,
Um, so we were watching the liberals going apoplectic, and for some reason they feel the need to post their craziness online. And then I noticed there's some profile accounts that were egging it on to say, please give us all of them. I want to see all of these. And I said to my wife, I go, that's a bridge that I won't cross for the exact same reasons that you were saying it
right.
is. It's fun to watch and everything like that, but if we really perpetuate constantly picking on them and shaming them, how are we really going to move forward? And I know many people watching this to be, oh yeah, but they deserve it because they did this, this, and this, and this. And so, well, I believe in unity, and somehow, some way, we're going to have to be able to reach out to the other side. Now, remember, the other side is not what we saw on the elections. It's not a 51-47 split. That's a myth. Robert would say 80-20. I would say 70-30. So, um, knowing that you're dealing with a 30% that is either well programmed, evil, or selfish. So the evil, yeah, let's take them out. Let's take care of business, right? We have to hold them accountable. When I say that, FBI, I'm not considering us physically doing it. I'm talking about through the legal system and through the Trump administration. They need to be held accountable. Evil needs to go. The ones that are just selfish and all about their own money and they could care less, we will handle them. We will make them broke by not going to their businesses. We will affect them financially by not supporting the same systems that they support.
Right.
So those two are taken care of. So that leaves the remainder, in my opinion, and that remainder is very important because these are people that have been highly programmed and they don't know what they don't know.
Very true.
So if we would take a moment and to open our arms to them, and again, the same thing goes, even if we have the ball in our court now, we need to acclimate them to the truth. We cannot truth farm from them. But we're going to have to find a way to explain to them that the system is what's brought them to where they are. The programming is what brought them to where they are. That what you believe is not the reality, and we're open to teach you that. This is the way I'm going to approach these situations, and I would recommend others, if they agree with me, to do the same.
Bigger than that, though. I mean, your story last night about them not showing Fox News in the convention center, but actually switching over to CNN.
Yeah.
It says a lot. It's like there is a shift happening. I don't know about you, Lewis, but this morning, oh my gosh, can you feel the freedom? I mean, it's just like a black cloud has been freaking lifted off of us. Everyone's been saying that. People were in tears this morning. I woke up early. They woke up early. They just couldn't sleep. They were just like, oh my, I can't believe we're here. We fought a long, hard battle to get here. It's been 4 long years to get to this point. And there's just this absolute sense of relief. And, will it be reflected in CNN? I think something has shifted there because it didn't make sense what we were seeing last night.
No. So if I'll reflect on that so people know what you're talking about here because it was fascinating. For you that don't know, and maybe Robert has some video or some images, my wife and I were blessed enough to be at the event center with um, everybody that was supporting President Trump and to celebrate this victory and see him on stage and mingle within the crowd and so on and so forth. So that was an awesome blessing. And actually, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't have gone because I've been so worn out with my travel and my work, and I'm just honestly I'm to the edge of just so tired. Um, but I'm here today. In fact, she even says, I know you're tired and so on and so forth, but you must be there. But you're right, and I'll be there. Um, but the interesting thing though is while I was at the event center, I noticed they had three screens running, and what they would do is it was actually very professional. They would show one main news talking, and then they would have the sub ones. So it would be, say it would be Fox, and then you'd have MSDNC and CNN. Now MSDNC almost never took the mainstream,
Hmm.
main 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 screen. Fox and CNN held that, but CNN had it, I don't know, 70, 80% of the time. Which, by the way, that was, you have to understand, that's a manual choice. Whoever was operating that was choosing to put that up. And my belief system, after listening to that, they weren't choosing to put that up because they were a fan of CNN or because they were a lefty, right? Because that was probably run by the Trump team anyways. In fact, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
They chose to put it up because the narrative, which is crazy, was closer to the truth watching CNN that it was watching the excuse makers for Kamala. Now, ultimately, CNN didn't call the race as soon as Fox did, but Fox was pressured into that situation, just so everybody's very, very clear. Um, in fact, if our news network, Screw the Gov, was the first to call the race, but we didn't call it based on guessing. I ran the numbers, and you and I were on the phone going back and forth and trying to figure this thing out.
Yep.
We were mapping it out, and I said, well, I said Raffensperger from Georgia. I had inside information that he'd already said there's Trump's got it, right? So that was a big clue. Plus, we're looking at the numbers, and we kind of saw that Georgia was going to go, but we got to notice that the news media was ignoring that Georgia was about ready to go. And then you and I were looking at Pennsylvania. One thing I did do is I jumped the gun intentionally in Alaska, and I already put Alaska in the category of president because we know historically that's always gone to the right.
Yeah.
So I did do that, which is 3 points, and which left Georgia and then Pennsylvania. So Georgia was a done deal based on something I heard, and then I'm looking at Pennsylvania, and he was 251 on my scorecard, which Pennsylvania is 19, which would have given him the 270. And I'm watching and watching and watching, and then I knew that there was stuff going on in Wisconsin and Michigan and Nevada, Arizona, and some other things. So the key was I'm trying to see, could he win it without all those manipulated states like Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona. That was, and Wisconsin. That was my take on this. Could he do that? So the answer is yes if you got Pennsylvania. So I really was paying very close attention to Pennsylvania all night. What Fox News was doing, which was sketchy as hell, Robert,
Oh yeah.
is all night they were not showing what the Pennsylvania real numbers were unless Kamala was ahead. When Trump was ahead, what they did is then they started showing county numbers, and they were kept showing where Harris was, where Harris was, where Harris was. She's up 68-30. She's up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would keep that number on the screen for several minutes. It took up way too much time, and they would keep it up. So I knew what they were doing at the time. I said, they're conditioning us. They're trying to condition us. And then when it was so obvious, when it got to 90% in and Trump had a 4% lead, which they couldn't have done like that this time because it would have been over obvious, it was done. So then that's when I called the race and I said Trump won. And people, even on my channel, were getting very angry at me. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, sorry. So I said, do math yourself. I said, I did the math. I know it.
Yeah, we did. We were on the phone back and forth while we were live. We were going back
Yeah.
and
And
forth
you were
going through it.
challenging me, which was
Hmm.
great. And
Yeah.
this is how we got to make sure that we were there, because you would challenge me. I have to explain myself, and we would go back and forth. And then I think finally you agreed. You're like, yeah, that looks legit.
Yeah.
And again, we did put Alaska in, but we already knew where that was, right? So what happened is we were started at that time, Robert. It became fun for you and I, and frustrating at the same time, because as soon as we knew it was one, which was I think it was at least an hour and a half before Fox News called it, right?
Oh, it
As
was
soon as
way,
we
yeah,
knew,
it's amazing how much they held off. I mean, I was very surprised by that because
and
RSBN was
that's
already calling it as Trump won, Trump won, Trump won, and like, okay, who is RSBN compared to Fox, or you know what I mean? But nobody moved until Fox or CNN would call it. It's really weird how the media works.
exactly.
They've got so much leverage, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. And this, so you and I were watching this really close. We were texting each other, guys, and we were phone calling back and forth. And we were watching, we're like, they don't know what to do. They're stuck.
Yeah.
They're in a position that if they call it, well, there's no way that you can start now ballot harvesting. I almost felt like they were trying to see if they can, if somebody could give them the word, hey guys, we got a lot of ballots in here, hold off, right? That's what it felt like to
Yep.
me. It was very disgusting. So when I was watching CNN, okay, well, let's go back to Fox. So what Fox was doing, guys, which was disgusting, is Fox kept going to all the Harris ones, saying, okay, she has a chance because of this. She can do this. She can do this. She can do this. She can do this. It was always about how Harris's outlook looks better than it looks on the screen that we were looking at. So in essence, don't believe your eyes. Believe us when we tell you that there's this whole thing that Harris can do, and it's going to just be wonderful. This is Fox News.
Yeah.
I'm listening to CNN, and CNN was breaking down 2016, 2020, and 24 because they're, which they should be doing, by the way. And I hate to praise them, but they should be doing this. They should be looking for patterns. Life is about patterns, math is about patterns, and you can learn a lot from this. So they noticed that the dichotomy between 2020 and 24 Biden votes versus Harris votes was a 4 to 5% lower in some areas, and Trump was even performing higher. So at that time, it said they knew there was no path to victory for Kamala. And you even heard one of the CNN pundits said out loud, I know I'm not going to say it, but I'm just going to say he's won. Right? I know I'm not supposed to, he said out
Yep.
loud and under his breath. Very interesting, right? So it was very, very fascinating um, to watch this, and it was fun to be there. I was torn because I wish I could have been there with you and the team and everybody that was participating. But at the same time, I felt like kind of an on the you're on the ground guy, with the camera and
Well, you
giving
were
you the
you were
update.
there. Look at this is the pinnacle moment here that you filmed. So yeah, you were right there, right at that moment. You could see the crowd just reacting. One thing that you mentioned is there was emotional swings in the crowd early in the night, high, low, right? It was a different kind of experience.
Yeah, and it was I would say that it was different than 2020. And here's why. It's and it's if if you beat a dog with a belt enough times, he's wary of that belt slapping all the time. I can tell you, we got years ago our dog Cody, our beautiful dog Cody. We got him when he was a year and a half, and he clearly was beaten with a stick because I would grab a stick or a bat to play or do whatever I was doing with the kids, and he used to cower his head and kind of run away and put his tail between his legs, right?
Hmm.
So I liken that to the people in the crowd. So what happens is when Fox and here we have to understand too, a lot of people in the crowd are not awake just because they are Trump supporters, and mainly I would say that they are campaigners, is what they are. They're not they're not fully awake. So what happened is when Fox News would go up and they would say, "Well, it looks like Kamala has a chance here, and look, she's really leading by a lot here, and oh, well, it doesn't look good for Trump." They do these little psychological couple words here and there, and you watch the energy in the crowd dip, boom, like this. So I found myself and other people were talking, right? And I'm like, okay, look at it from this angle, look at it from this angle. And that's what finally motivated me to get on and do my math myself. And I got some people I think that are pretty intelligent with some pretty good character, and they're like, didn't know. And I showed them, here's how it works out. This is how Georgia's going to work out. This is how Pennsylvania's going to work out. You already know he has Alaska. Look at these numbers, but. And I showed them, and amazing. Based on little old me, they're like, "Oh my God, we got this! This is amazing." That's how powerful the MK Ultra from the news media is, and we have to understand what their goal is. So in the future, I mean, most people here probably don't even watch the mainstream, which is great. But they can do the same thing through X. They can do the same thing through Truth Social and other platforms. We have to understand the goal is manipulation, constant manipulation, because ultimately they want control. How do you get control? You have to lie, deceive, manipulate people in order to get them there. So it was interesting, but yeah, it was the wave of energy was going up and down and up and down. I mean, and they when Kamala was declared winning, I forgot some small state. They're all like, "Oh no!" And like she would have had that state no matter what, right? And then Trump was considered that he won another small
It was
state. Like,
actually
you
easier to figure out, Lewis, because today it comes out that the only states she won are the ones that did not require voter ID.
wow, that's interesting, Rob.
Yeah,
That
so
is
that would have been
that
an
is
easy
fascinating.
call.
That is fascinating. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
that's what I've been reading. It's
Wow,
like, well, okay, well, there makes some sense
interesting.
to that. Hmm.
So I worked a little bit today, and I came up with I'm gonna put out an open letter to President Trump tomorrow. Lisa's working on the website in the background also, and I would love to get everybody's signatures on it. If you appreciate what I'm going to talk about, all I'll say is I kind of gave you guys some hints about it yesterday when I was coming up with some ideas, and I really believe this will take down the political deep state in the easiest, quickest way, and there could be nobody that can complain about it. Well, I mean, they can complain, but they won't have a counter argument
Right.
to this idea. I really put a lot of thought into this. I ran it by a few people on the ground there yesterday that are fairly connected, and 100% of people, when they heard the idea, and I've expanded on it today, they said, "This is it. Yeah, that would be great if we can get Trump to do it." So
Right.
I will put it together, and hopefully we can announce that tomorrow, and it'll be live, and I'm going to ask everybody to get behind this. It's pretty cool.
What time did it all wrap up there last night or this morning, I should say?
Well, I think around 3-ish, right? But uh, which interesting enough. So what we did is, when you think you're smart and you end up not to be, that was my moment yesterday. So I said, okay, here's the way we're going to do this, honey. So the Secret Service is telling us you're better off to Uber in and Uber out, right? Don't take your own car,
Right.
because it's going to be hard to get in and out. So I said, okay, let's do better. So I thought I could outsmart everybody. And what we did is we took our car to be just uh, 5 minutes away, driving time. And then I said, we'll just take an Uber to get out. Well, problem one, both our batteries died on our phones. So that was the first problem. How are you going to get that Uber in order to do that? Problem two, even though we were being proactive, because we had to find a way to get our battery charged, everybody else was starting to take their Ubers. So by the time we got our battery charged, which took about 20 minutes, a nice guy at a hotel hooked us up, right? 20, 25 minutes. Then we tried to get an Uber, and it took over an hour
Yeah.
to get an Uber, and they kept canceling, canceling, canceling. Now, a minute, we were only like 5 miles away, but 5 miles away driving was an hour away walk,
You're right. Hmm.
right? And my wife is already mad at me because I insisted that she wear high heels, and that was a bad deal right there. So then she was walking barefoot. So walking for another hour just wasn't in the cards. So she's like, okay, now get a Lyft app. Well, I've been canceled off Lyft. I got banned from Lyft before because my young son, who was underage at the time, scolded the driver for something, so they banned me off of Lyft. She said, see, it happened years ago. So they said, see if you can get on Lyft. And I said, okay. So I'm on Lyft and Uber at the same time, trying to get a car. And they kept that you think you got it, and then they're like, oh nope, 10 more minutes. You think you got it, they're like 10 more minutes. So and it's 3:30, 4 in the morning by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Not many
finally we
drivers at
talked.
that hour.
Right. So finally I walked up to a guy, and I go, did you end up getting a car? And he says, yeah, we got one. It's gonna be here. And he goes, we're 3 minutes away. I said, how about I just give you cash, and maybe you can and I will convince your driver to drop us off. And he says, okay, let's give it a shot. So he's very nice. And that's what I did. So I convinced the driver, then I gave the guy cash that he could give to the driver, and we ended up home. So we got to sleep, 5 o'clock ish, Penny, 5:15 maybe.
Wow.
So it was uh
Sun
it
was
was
coming up already.
interesting. Yeah, and it's so funny because I got up about 7:30 and I had to shut the blinds
Yeah.
to try to get some sleep. But it was I asked her this morning, was it worth it? And she said, "Yep, certainly was." So it was awesome. I mean, what an experience and what a place to be there. There's only a few people that can say they were there when Trump accepted that he's president of the United
Yeah.
States on the 47th president.
Yeah.
Is he really 47? That's a whole nother story.
Well, yeah. Hey guys, just want to let you know ScrewBigGov is the website. You want to go follow Lewis and see what he's up to and posting videos and all kinds of stuff, including Hurricane Hell. You'll find a link to that as well. I understand the domain sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, hurricanehell.com. So if you have trouble with it, just go to ScrewBigGov, go under the films, and you'll find it there. That's another way to get to it. Shortcut if you can't get to it. Really worth watching. The re-edit, I think we call it. And if you want to follow me, renegademedia.tv or Renegade Media on Telegram, which we are keeping very up to date. Put a lot of posts in there the last few days. People have been loving it, and a lot of comments and people saying thank you for the work we're doing. Lewis, we have had a lot of people congratulating us and thanking us for being here day in and day out and fighting the good fight for the last couple of years that we've been doing this. And, they're very appreciative of the efforts that we're putting in. And boy, it is a lot of effort to do these shows, hours and hours and hours go into them. And, you see us for maybe 60, 90 minutes, so you don't realize what goes into putting it together is a lot. But yeah, we do appreciate all the comments and people saying thank you. And just want to pass that along to you in case you haven't been seeing those messages because, people really appreciated the show last night as well. I think we're over 22,000 views of it already. So we had a big audience.
Yeah, no, we were very, very blessed. Actually, a lot of people texted us in chat, and when we were there, I was surprised people actually recognized me. Like, "Are you Lewis?" And I was afraid to come talk to you, so I brought my wingman. They were joking. She's like, so a lot of people recognize this and appreciate the work we do. So that's pretty awesome. I didn't think in that atmosphere they would, but it just proves, Robert, that our message is getting out a lot bigger than
Yeah.
what the numbers may say on Rumble. I think I'm in ignore mode on that. In fact, I talked to somebody that's going to introduce me to the owner of Clout Hub, and that may be a conversation that you and I should be having
Hmm.
next.
Yeah, we're streaming on Cloud Hub right now. So we're on every day. We're on
Yep.
that site. So yeah.
Just a matter of how to promote it.
Right. I don't spend much time on the website. I know they're updating it. They're doing different things with it. I haven't spent a ton of time there, but yeah, the streams are there every day. We push out to Cloud Hub, and we're also on at Wow Louie on X, and also at Robert Imbriali on X. And we got a ton of views on X last night, a lot more than we've ever gotten on those channels. So a lot of people stepped up and watched there, which is really kind of cool to see. It was a 7 hour and 20 minute broadcast last night. So yeah, we did it.
That's
We made it.
amazing. No, you did great.
Yeah,
So after you run it live on X, does it stay up or
yeah,
does it
it
come
stays up.
down?
No, it stays up.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll check in on that. Well, yeah. So yes, I am exhausted. But so what else is going on in the world?
Well,
Anything?
you was looking at this map. I wanted to bring this to your attention right now because it says 301, and the only thing that's missing is, of course, Maricopa County, Arizona. Boy, what a surprise! But when he gets that, he'll have 312. There's 11 votes there in Arizona, so he will end this at 312, which I think was the same number Reagan had, or was Reagan higher than that? I'm
Reagan was
remembering
much
312.
higher.
Was it much
Yeah,
higher?
Reagan was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was much higher. He just destroyed. You're talking about Mondale, not his first election, second election.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, in fact, I'll look it up while you're talking real quick. But these numbers are fake anyway. So, you know, it's it'd be interesting to know, and hopefully something I'm recommending will end up getting us the real numbers. How fun would that be?
Well, the reality, if you look at 2020 and you look at this 2024, it's almost exactly you can overlay and it's almost the same map. It's really
You
funny.
mean oh, from the States or
Yeah,
the
from the States. It's really
yeah.
interesting. It's like, yep, the same states that are blue there are blue again. It's like, well, we don't have any creativity, so we're just going to give you the same idea that we had. We'll just go that way. And there's so many memes. We're just loving the memes today. They're just coming out. Well, our side does a good job of memes. Mexican word of the day is nacho. Nacho president.
Not, not joke. So believe it or not, Reagan was 525.
Whoa. That means he lost one state?
He lost two. He lost Hawaii and Minnesota.
Wow. He got DC. Wow.
And only because no, he lost DC. I'm sorry, he lost DC and Minnesota. He actually won Hawaii.
Wow.
Go figure that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that
yeah,
was at
he
a as rigged as it is now. I mean, it's always been a little
well,
rigged.
this is my point.
Yeah.
And what did I say what the real electoral map would look like this time? It would be
Mostly red. Yeah.
it would be identical to what I'm looking at with Reagan, except Trump would have taken Minnesota as well. So
Yeah.
there would always be that blue dot. And I believe that's what we're really looking at is with the Trump, if we get the real numbers, you're looking at a 535 to 3 map.
Yeah, that feels more normal from what we saw optically. Certainly, we're looking at the numbers. Trump never was behind. He was leading from the moment the results started to come in. He was ahead. He was ahead the whole time. She didn't even get close. So it felt good right from the start. There was, when we had that long stall there waiting for the East Coast, I'm sorry, the Midwest numbers to come in. There was a long pause there, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We're like, I don't know, and then it was like all at once. There were like 5 states that reported all at the same time, and bang, it just came in. It's like, oh, okay, this is good. And then it stalled again for a long time as we're waiting for the West Coast because that's 2 hours back. And we can reenact California if you want.
Oh, wow. I just you and I called it though. We were on the phone when it happened actually, weren't we?
Yeah, well, this is what it sounded like. First of all, they said, "Okay, folks, the polls are now closed. Ah, Kamala Harris is the winner. She gets all 54 electoral
Exactly.
votes." That's how it went.
The same thing in 2020.
Yep.
It was the same thing in 2020. It's so scandalous. California is so scandalous
They didn't even
because
count
whoever's
1% of the ballots, and they already declared her the
no,
winner. Come on, really?
they it's just so sketchy. It's just absolutely crazy.
You don't have any
California.
confidence living in California at all that your vote's going to mean anything. I mean, it's just because you don't see any of the Republicans winning. It's just the most amazing thing. And Adam Schiff won again. Excuse me?
There's no way in hell.
No, no
People
way in hell.
hate that guy.
Yeah,
Hate that guy.
yeah.
There's no way that Adam Schiff would have
Hey, well, Nancy
won an
Pelosi
election.
won
And
32 years in a row. I mean, come on.
it's right. Yeah, and Adam Schiff wouldn't be. It's Steve Garvey. Does anybody know it's Steve Garvey that's watching? One of the most famous Dodgers of all time,
Yeah,
conservative.
yeah.
One of the most loved baseball players of all time. It doesn't matter what you think about him. He was the one running against Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. There's no way in hell Adam Schiff won. But um,
There's your number
I,
right there. So Steve Garvey, 42 and 57 for Schiff. There's no way that number is. That's no way. No way, no way, no way.
so the challenge with our elections is actually the beauty with the way our government is run. If it was run properly,
Right.
if the states have autonomy as they should. So think about this, and there's proof yesterday, and I can prove it right now. The states, yes, they have autonomy, but they have autonomy to make evil, critical, bad decisions, just like they can make good decisions. And I'll give you an example. Um, three states that implemented some type of voter reform was Florida, Texas, and believe it or not, Georgia. Some, a little bit. I guess a little bit in Virginia, but that really didn't. So why am I saying that? Because if you notice, Florida came in right away, heavy for Trump, and that's supposed to be a purple state. They've been telling us,
Right.
right? They've been telling you Texas was a purple state, and that came in it almost immediately for Trump. And then Georgia, which we know is a red state. I believe that critical Supreme Court decision where they said that they pretty much said the DOJ.
The frontline workers.
Yeah, I think it probably had some impact, Um, I think it was, how do I say this? Because I don't want to give away what I'm doing tomorrow, but this is kind of about it. I think that was a position. That's the best way I can say it. He was posturing,
Right.
putting himself in a position, especially if he does what I'm going to recommend tomorrow, because you connect the two together and they'll be very, very powerful. So I think he was setting up the deep state more than a deterrent. I think it was more of a trap.
Hmm. Interesting.
We'll see.
Interesting.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to lay out the mousetrap tomorrow, and we'll see. He may just say, you know, nope, not interested, whatever. But we'll see. I'm going to
Yeah.
put it out there and see if we can get some traction.
Speaking of mousetrap, here's a guy who loves mice more than anything. He really does. That's Thumper.
He's
15-year-old
like
kitty.
90 now, right?
Yeah, he's looking good for his age. This was taken, I took this about 2 weeks ago, so it's a fairly new photo. And we're feeding them the good stuff. Pet Club 24/7. Lewis feeds it to his dogs. And boy, all of you who love it too. I see your notes in the chat room. I see you guys emailing us, and the food there that is quite amazing. There's also stuff for humans. That's actually where they got their start.
Right.
And you could find out more screwbiggov.com/pets. And we thank Pet Club 24/7 for being a sponsor of our show and also keeping our pets super healthy. Appreciate that. Pets are happy. That's all that matters, right? What do we
Well,
got
it.
here?
I'd say
Sources.
happy wife is a little bit more important, but yeah, happy pets, happy.
Yeah, happy pets. Yeah, especially a cat, because a cat doesn't take no for an answer.
That's true.
I'm sorry, you can't have food right now. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to annoy you until you feed me.
They're pretty persistent.
They're incredibly persistent. Look at this. Sources tell me Barack and Big Mike have just boarded a private jet and are leaving the country.
Well, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm compiling a list of all the celebrities that have said they're leaving the country. I have another strategy that we're going to have a lot of fun with them in the coming weeks here, folks.
That'll be cool if that is actually a reality. That was last night after the announcement, so that was kind of like, let's see if that is real or not. But they have a house just what? It's 2 blocks from the White House where they're living.
Yeah, maybe they're leaving to Gitmo. Who knows? Didn't say where they were leaving to.
They're getting out of Dodge. That's what they're doing. DC Drano says, think about this: if Trump won in 2020, he would have had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, which would have resulted more impeachments, no Senate confirmations, no bills passed, and possibly the end of the MAGA movement as an effective political force. But now he has the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, a popular vote mandate in an entire country that wants to clean up our elections, close our borders, deport illegals, and hold corrupt politicians accountable. Sometimes I think it had to happen this way. Kind of feeling that way. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I believe you're going to see um, with some challenges. That's what I'll say. With some challenges, I think you're going to see the House and Senate grow even more red in the coming months.
Yeah.
Um, and then again, with this proposal I'm putting out there, this should really help take care of that.
Yeah, we one of the questions that I think is coming up more than any other, it's like, well, we only have Trump for 4 years. And I said, you're right. And I think what I'm seeing, optically, what I'm seeing is he's not playing the 4 year game. What he's doing is like he doesn't even need to be there for the 4 years, honestly. What he's doing, he's putting in place a team around him who have the same beliefs. So it's the same idea, right? The Steve Jobs used to talk about this, the crazy ones, the ones who are way out there. If you think about Trump being an outsider, and you think about a guy like Mitch McConnell, not going along with Trump because McConnell says that's not the way we do things around here. This is the way we do things. They didn't work with him in his first term at all, and they didn't help him certainly when he was out of office. They were against him for the most part. All these embedded, long term, part of the system, that kind of thing. And he really didn't have, if you look at it, he really didn't have a lot of support around him. The GAO told him who to appoint, and he did, and it turned out it was a bunch of deep staters. It's going a different direction now. Now he's funding his own transition team. He's got good
Hmm.
people on board. He's going to appoint the correct people. And here's what I think I'm seeing with Vance. is that with Vance and RFK Jr. and all these people here, I'll give you the Magnificent Seven. This is the Magnificent Seven we're looking at. So you got Bannon, Musk, Vance, you got RFK Jr., you got Tulsi, you got Tucker. He's putting together a core team that are going to be able to carry this message forward. So they don't need a Trump going forward because you're going to have so many who've converted to this way of thinking. Remember, he was a crazy one at first, and now people are realizing, holy crap, it actually worked if you look back at it. And now they'll
Hmm.
see it work even more. And it won't really matter if, he only has 4 years because the movement will continue beyond his lifetime. What do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we're setting it up for success is what we're doing.
Right.
And if you notice, the people that you have on your screen there, these are very, very independent thinkers. Think about this. These are not followers. These are not play that by a certain playbook. They're extraordinarily independent thinkers.
Yep.
Now, I mean, even Bannon came up with the idea that Trump should come out right away and declare victory. That's an independent thought. Elon 2.0 is probably just as independent as Elon 1.0. But anyways, Elon Musk, independent thinker. Vance, I know there's some past there that I'm trying to figure out if it's true or not true. I can tell you though, this guy was a superstar when he was being interviewed
Oh, yeah. Oh,
by
yeah.
people.
He knew his
He
stuff.
was he was just crushing him. RFK Jr. is absolutely an out of box thinker. Tulsi Gabbard to me is just a total rock star. And Tucker has always been way on the edge. So I think it's fascinating to see the team that he's putting together. And by the way, how many of these are political figures? Not really, right? Maybe JD Vance. So it's I'm very, very excited to see what they had. Now, here's where it comes down to we the people, though. I've been screaming here forever that we the people hold the power. So, guys, we need to hold the Trump administration accountable for results. We can't be because the one thing my biggest concern, I was telling this to people last night, is I don't want to be in some 10-year wonderful jubilee, right? While the evil is resetting their house of cards in order to come take back everything. No, we need to keep pushing forward until we get everything, until we the people take all the power back.
Yep.
That's what we need to do. So I'm hoping people are going to be motivated to do that and not just sit on their laurels and go, "We won. This is amazing. Yay. Look
Hey,
at
today,
everything's
it's okay
great."
to do that today, but that's it.
Yes,
We've got to get back to work
you
tomorrow.
can you can do it until January 20th.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on January 21st, I hope it's like, okay, let's get to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get to work right away, but everybody else can take a pause
But
if they
we
want.
are, yeah, we have to, and people are looking to that and saying, okay, what's the next step? But we haven't heard the reaction yet from the other side, and that's going to dictate a lot. But we have to keep pushing that message forward, and the biggest thing is bringing along the other side who is resistant right now, and we get it. They're in shock, they're in disbelief, and it's going to take a while for them to come around. But I believe that they will. Not all of them. Certainly, there's a contingency that is just not ever going to come along, and we're not asking them to love Trump, not at all. That's not the game. The game is to love freedom and love this country again because they were taught to hate it so much and everything that it stands for. It's like, okay, that's what was, but what is going to be very different, and that's what we got to be all
Yes.
come together on.
Oh, I would agree with you. And I think we need to understand too is Trump's not the end all be all. He
Right.
should be appreciated for what he's done. And what he's done is he's opened up the conversation to the fact that there is a deep state running the world, right? So ultimately, he still works for a corporation, unless it's been disbanded and we don't know about it. I know there's speculation that it has been.
Right.
So we eventually have to get to common law. But like I've been saying for years, we don't jump from where we are in our corporate legal system to our lawful natural law or common law system. You just don't, you can't make that jump. I know everybody wanted to make that jump, but we have to understand that we're dragging millions, if not billions, worldwide along the finish line with us. And what you have to do is you have to kind of coerce them and slowly acclimate them to get them to where you want to come. So all of you common law, natural law people, don't be upset that we're not there yet because we will be. And that's the goal for me. And I think we just need to keep acclimating ourselves to get to that point. This is just a huge portion of that. When all this deregulation comes out, which is going to come out, it'll be that much easier to move us. Imagine if they get rid of income tax. It'll be that much easier to move us to where we need to be. And ultimately, I think we're going to get there. We have to be patient and keep working. There's a lot of work, Rob. You and I have been talking about
Oh
this for
gosh,
years.
yeah.
This last few years has really been about taking down the foundation, right? We still have a lot more to take down, y'all. I mean, we have a lot more to dismantle. Screw big up, like I say. So we have a lot to dismantle, and then when we do, this is where everybody has to really jump in. Now we have to start rebuilding the way God intended it.
Well, that's going to be our goal, right? Is to really figure out what we want it to look like, and now we have our hands on more of the levers we had none before. I mean, it was really, I think everyone echoed this sentiment that it was like we were helpless for the last 4 years to do anything. Our borders open. What can we do? We go down there, and Border Patrol arrests us. Wait a minute, who the hell are you working for? Are you working for us? Or are you working for them? You know, and now that'll shift, and now we'll be on their side, they'll be on our side, and we'll be able to push back on that. We'll be able to take action there. The same thing with the government overreach, and a lot of the things that Trump did in his first term was deregulation. We got way too many regulations, and the Chevron ruling from the Supreme Court, nothing's happened, right? But you challenge any of these rules that these three-letter agencies have made, these laws, they have no right to make the law. The law goes away. So
That's
now we'll
exactly
have the
right. They're
opportunity to
not
do that.
laws either, by the way. They're called regulations for a reason
Yeah, exactly.
because
They're not laws.
that's their manipulation.
Yep.
Regulation, fees, and fines.
Yep.
And thank you for bringing that up, Rob. You're right. The Chevron deference is the single largest decision in the last 100 years, I think, in the United States. The reversal of so-called Chevron deference,
Hmm.
huge, huge, and it really sets us up for success. So I'm very, very excited. But you're taking down over 1,000 years of a satanic cabal.
Yep.
It's going to take a while. And yes, I want everything to be amazing, but I'll be just happy to be part of the process going and knowing my children and all the kids to come are in shape. And we premier voices of young people that will just absolutely blow you away. And then we're talking 25-ish. And they're heads and tails above my thought process. I got to tell you right now. So
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable if these are the type of people. Let's add Barron Trump to the group that we're going to be, turning things over to in the
Man, was
future.
he tall? Woo! He made Trump look
Just
tiny.
yes, to see him in person, I was
Yeah.
blown away.
Wow. Massive, massive. Hey, someone we should thank and give a little bit of attention to is this guy, Scott Pressler. Seems like he's done yeoman's work there in registering people in Pennsylvania. Apparently 100,000. It's an astronomical number.
That's
The
amazing,
guy
amazing.
literally bought a house in Pennsylvania to do this work because he's from Arizona.
That is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy is a hero.
Yeah, absolute hero. So we want to give him some accolades and give him some airtime, and maybe at some point we'll see about getting him on the show because I would really love to hear his story firsthand, what he's done.
Yeah, remind me of that. We can make it happen.
Okay,
I was lucky enough in I have been over the probably the last 3 months to make a lot of extraordinary connections. So we can probably make that happen. That'd be cool.
that would be absolutely. We continue with our meme theme today, unburdened by what has been.
Taking out the garbage.
Taking out the trash, baby. Unburdened by what has been. And I got to tell you that nothing resonates more to me than that feeling today. Because it really feels like that time, that period in our history ended last night.
My wife must be listening to you because I hear her laughing in the background. So, honey, are you listening? She is. Yeah, she's listening. She has her pods on so she can't hear me, but she laughed like 7 seconds after you said it. So she's that is hilarious.
Yeah, well, it really is, and that's been the prevailing feeling from me and Phoebe last night. She doesn't stay up normally that late, and she stayed up, and she says she was in tears when she came in. And she was just crying, crying, crying of joy, tears of joy. And 3 or 4 other people contacted me, friends, and they were like the same thing. They were just crying when it happened. They couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable for them, and it was fantastic. And it's like, yeah, we were there, and it was an unbelievable, thing to see, and you could feel the veil lifting. The dark cloud really did feel like physically, viscerally felt like it was lifting last night after that.
Yes, yes. I'm very, very excited. I really am about our future, and we've got this. And the veil was lifted. I'm glad Phoebe was excited, and it was there was an apprehension last night, to be honest with you. And I am still saying I would beware. It's just now getting dark here. If there's going to be any shenanigans by the deep state actors, Antifa types, I predicted it would happen the day after. So
Right.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm just saying if it's going to happen, this is when we're going to start
Yeah,
seeing.
apparently there's a major protest being planned for DC from these people. So I'm keeping an eye on that to see if that happens. It's supposed to happen this weekend. So we'll see what goes on
Yeah.
there. So I
So
got
I
a
said,
screenshot of Trump's phone. Very rare to be able to get it, but I got it. And I want to share this with you because it's right. Well, President Zelensky called missed calls. How many missed calls does it say? 203 missed calls. And he sent a text message. It says, "My money's still coming." Right? Then he says, "I'm scared." And he says, "Please call."
yeah, that's got to be a joke.
Of
But
course,
there's
it's a joke. It's a meme. We have the best
but
memes,
it's
Lewis.
it is we have the best
We
memes. This
really
we've
do.
been saying this. We've been saying this for years. If you look at a liberal meme, it's just hateful. I
Yeah.
hate you. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Ah! Like that's their meme, right? And our memes are just so freaking hilarious because the best comedy is built on truth, not.
Yeah, and the other feeling that we're having is we're going to see a lot of these deep staters heading for the hills. Apparently, Biden called Trump to congratulate him and invited him to the White House. Oh, let's patch everything up. Don't sue me. Don't go after me. Don't turn the DOJ on me like we did on you.
They're all scared.
They're all scared now. Yes, I mean, it's not because
Yes,
we're overeating
we,
and
including me.
well, it's not because we're overeating so much. It's that literally it's the toxicity in the food. There are a lot of people who just do detox and they start losing weight when they detoxify. The problem is it doesn't stay because as they eat more food, they're bringing more toxins in. So it's hard to get clean food today. It's really difficult to get it. Even, we grow food here on the farm and you say, well, it's got to be clean. It's all organic. Yeah, but what are they spraying in the air that's landing on the soil? Heavy metals, aluminum, lead, whatever they're spraying up there, and it's landing in the soil. So we're eating it. Even if we're eating organic, we're not eating pure. So one thing that RFK said, he's going to ban the chemtrails. We're going to get rid of that.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, and you're not when you're eating organic, you're not eating minerally rich food either because of the rotation of the crops. The way they do
Right.
it is purely for profit,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. I will say I'm focusing on my health big time. Well, not tomorrow. I'm probably going to enjoy Mr. Pibb. I'm going to treat myself. But anyways, I am focusing on my health, but I will miss one thing. As you can see, I tend to put my arms like this a lot. I'll probably not be able to do that very soon. I can't rest them on my belly anymore.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. No, we've all got to watch our health, and I think it's going to become a lot easier. I thought it was 5,000 chemicals in our food. That was the last number I had, but that's an old number. Apparently, it's over 30,000 chemicals in our food that are, generally accepted as safe. There's been no research done on them. We think they're safe. Go ahead and use it, no problem. And that's the way the FDA has dealt with it. So a lot of that stuff's got to come out. And once it does, RFK Jr. posted a post of his uncle JFK eating a hamburger at a hamburger stand back in the 50s. It was a colorized photo. It was really nice. And he says, there should be no harm for us to go to the hamburger stand and have a hamburger and have to worry about our health.
Mm,
Right?
yes.
True. Absolutely true.
Yeah. Can you? So let's break. Hold on a second. I apologize. You'll hear this instead. Can you turn the air conditioner back on? It hasn't heard me because of the pods, so I guess you'll hear me 7 seconds from now. Um, let's break down a hamburger, Rob. I think this would be fun. Think about it. You've got a bun, which the now gluten is an issue. Gluten was never an issue. Gluten's not an issue if you go into South America, if you go into parts of
Hmm.
Italy, people don't have gluten intolerances because the way the food is processed differently. So you have the bun, which is full. It's pretty much simple carbohydrates. It's white. It converts itself into sugar. The glucoses go crazy, and it's a gluten issue. That's just the bun, right? And then you go into the ketchup. Ketchup here in the United States has at least 16 different ingredients. Where I can tell you, I've traveled to Mexico and they have four,
Yep.
right? And then you go into the lettuce, and the lettuce is GMO processed, non mineralized because it hasn't been crop rotated. So that's, oh, and not to mention the pesticides that are all over it. That's what we're ingesting in our body. The tomatoes are fake. Did you guys know that tomatoes are fake? Tomatoes aren't real anymore. Tomatoes are completely a GMO created food now. It is one of the weirdest foods on the planet now. If you can get a natural tomato, oh my Lord, they're so good.
They actually have flavor.
Because
It's
they're
like, what is this?
well, they're and
Yeah.
they're a fruit. Think
Mhm.
about that. They're a fruit, and they taste like a fruit, but now they don't, right?
Right.
And then you go into the cheese. God, don't get me started on the dairy industry. Can you just imagine everything wrong with the dairy? You go with the antibiotics, you go with the hormones, you go with the steroids. Uh, Dairy right there. Geez, I wonder why people are lactose intolerant, including myself. And then you go into the beef itself, right? Even your grass fed, what is the grass made of? But yeah, well, they poison the grass because they want to keep the grass without the weeds. They don't want the eating the weeds. So therefore they're eating poison, and it goes on and on and on and on. And look at all the intake of that. I just broke down a burger for you, which I love, by the way. I had one today. I love burgers. I've loved burgers. I don't know what it is. I'm a burger dude. That's who I am. And I can tell you, it is a concern for me every time I eat a burger that I am getting so many different genres of poison
Yeah.
in my body. And I maybe I should do a little video on that because I just when I'm breaking down this analogy of the burger, I'm like, wow, it's freaking scary.
It was one step more that they do. They say it's 100% pure beef. And all that means is that somewhere in that burger, 1 ounce, one piece, one grain is 100% pure beef. The rest is all cereal, wheat, and soy fillers and all the rest of that. But they can market it as 100% pure beef. They do the same thing with juice. 100% pure juice, or they say contains 100% pure juice. Yeah, but that's only 1 ounce of it. What's the other 64 ounces? High fructose corn syrup, colors, flavoring, all the rest of this kind of thing. And they get away with that. So that kind of labeling's got to go because it's really, really misleading for people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And I believe that's the direction we're going. How excited. We really are going to be living in the golden age.
we
And to,
will.
to, to leave this, whether you have children or not, to leave this to the generations to come, you know, good on you guys. Everybody that's been part of this, you've been tasked to do this and you're doing a phenomenal job in support of this. How cool is this that we're part of this? I just think it's amazing.
This is California. You notice by the strange shape of the state. All the Harris votes came on the coasts. And what are they showing? Is that San Diego at the bottom that we're looking at? Blue? San Diego's not blue.
San Diego's not blue at all. That's crazy.
I'm looking at
Yep.
this and I go, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, Los Angeles, yeah, I get that, but not Orange County. Oh, Orange County's orange there. Is
No.
that the only area?
Yeah. With the Orange County's orange wasn't 18, by the way. I don't have to make it
Well,
changed yet.
I wonder where's Shasta County. I want to know which way it went because they don't use the machines.
Shasta County should be red. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pointed out something yesterday. I don't know if you said it. I think it was genius that we should look at Shasta County to see what the real election looked.
Hmm. Yeah, we
Let me
get it.
go.
We get a more accurate number there than anywhere.
I'm gonna see
But
if I can get the numbers while you're
I'm
doing
looking at this. It's like San Diego's not blue. There's no way San Diego's blue. What are you
San
guys talking
Diego's
about?
not. Well, maybe all their illegals put it this time. Maybe they finally got them to vote.
Well, yeah, because everyone that was going to the polling stations, they didn't even ask anybody for ID. And if you showed it to them, they're like, "Don't show me. I don't want to see it." Like, whoa, you know?
Um, you know, interesting. This is not completely off topic. It's kind of cool. Is the traveling I do, I'm constantly in Ubers and talking to people behind counters and so on and so forth. Because I'm taking a pulse of what's out there. You'd be surprised. I rarely run into somebody that's not a Trump supporter.
Ditto. Same thing.
I got a massage today. huge Trump supporter,
Yeah.
right? Our Uber driver yesterday from Haiti, huge Trump supporter.
Yep.
I'm just saying, the guy at the front desk in the hotel, the Hispanic dude, Trump supporter. And that's I know that that's Florida, but I've traveled all over the place, and I can tell you, I don't run into many people saying Kamala Harris. In fact, I got a text from a driver that I get often. Him and his brother drive me when I'm certain places, and he texted me, "Oh my God, I'm so excited about the future." He's from Iran,
Wow.
so I
Yeah, they
mean,
know because they've come from communist countries. They know what it's like over there. You know,
it's
they,
so clear
yeah,
clear to them what's
yeah.
going on.
No, that's what somebody posted on my Facebook. Voted for a convicted felon. I said, well, it's certainly better than being on the bullet train to communism. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah,
well, you know, what else is it going to be? I mean, hello, you know.
right. And why was he a convicted felon? That should really be
Yeah,
the
well,
question,
on
right?
that note, it looks like the DOJ is wiping out all the cases now, and Jack Smith has been disbanded. It looks like that's happening today. Uh, I think they're backpedaling to protect themselves because they know they've gone
I
way over
think
and
so
above the
too.
law. Yeah.
Yeah, they are afraid right now. They
And
think they're
now
running scared.
Trump's got the upper hand again. He's got the hammer, and he's going to take them down in one way or another. And I don't think he should back off because certainly they had no intention of backing off when they had the upper
You know,
hand.
I believe in reconciliation, but not in this case.
Right.
I think they need a indicative of the nation. And why did Robert bring this up? Him and his genius little self is because he knows this is the one place they got rid of machines,
Yep.
and they were hand counting.
Well,
So
thank
it's
you, Mike
very, very
Lindell.
hard to manipulate it. Yeah. Well, Dr. Frank, I think, had a lot. But Mike Lindell's brought that
Funded it. Yeah, no question. So they're a team. They pair up really nicely, those two. So wow.
very cool.
Hey, is Dr.
So
Frank doing
there's
a victory lap today? You think?
no, I was told, and I have to talk to, I'm going to call him maybe tomorrow. I was told that he predicted a Kamala win, actually.
Oh, really?
So yeah, but he should be doing a victory lap just because he's put so much exposure, shed the light on.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah.
I'll probably put a call into him tomorrow. I'm going to take some downtime tomorrow, even though I know we'll most likely do a show. I'll find a jacuzzi or something to do.
Are you doing one with Alan tomorrow? Is that the deal? It's
That you know
Thursday.
what, it may be hard for us to do over the thing, so I'll have to figure it
Okay.
out because I'm usually face to face with Alan. I might just do Zoom. But we'll figure it out.
Well, you got EV Mux. You got
Maybe I'll take a day off and then but I'll get hate mail from our audience.
yeah. I know how that is. They love us. I talked to Lance last night. We're going to have him on the show next week for an interview. He has some stuff he wants to share, and we're a big fan of Ascent Nutrition, and certainly this is one of my favorites, berberine. And I know your wife loves the dirt pills, the humic and fulvic acid, which has so many health benefits. So I'm working on a report right now for berberine. Have to run it by Lance before we release it to make sure we're not saying things that we're not allowed to say. Soon the FDA will be out of the way and we will say what the truth is and we won't have to scurry about. This is a blood sugar management supplement and take two capsules prior to meals and you won't have the blood sugar spike that is so detrimental to your health over the years. Your pancreas can only take so much, right? So you eat something, bang, your blood sugar spikes and then it comes back to normal. You eat something again, it spikes again. It's only going to do so many of the cycles before you end up being a diabetic. So this is to help you in prediabetes, to keep your blood sugar balance, helps with weight loss, certainly helps with metabolism, which is burning the fat and burning the food, and helps with energy levels and weight maintenance. So scrubbygov.com/health, you want to find out more about it. And like I said, there'll be a report coming on it very soon as well. Thank you, Lance. We love you. We love everything that you do. The products are just amazing.
Hey, you guys, everybody give some hearts and thumbs up to Robert in chat real quick. I'm just going to tell you, this guy works so hard in the background, and then he puts these shows together. And he and I agree that we would put these shows together, but with me flying and moving all over the place, Robert seems to step up often and takes care of this. So yesterday. He did the same thing. And I mean, I couldn't watch it. I got to pop in a few times, and I heard nothing but great things, Robert. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it was. I spent literally 12 hours on the graphics and the look of the show because I really wanted it to be something different. Because for me, this was a historic night, and I wanted to take the level up a little bit on it. And we were so blessed to have Kevin join us. Kevin was feeling severely left out. I didn't realize how much it impacted him that he wasn't part of the Unity tour. He really, really wanted to be on the road, but he had just had surgery, and he was like he stayed the entire 7.5 hours with us, and he's still recovering from his surgery. He's like he did not want to go. It's like, are you okay, Kevin? And at the end of it, this is what he said to me. He says, yeah, I've been walking around the house without my cane. He
Ah,
raised
that's
his
great.
vibration. He raised his
That is
energy.
great.
He's in his power
Exactly.
space. Yeah, it's just, it was like, wow, it almost brought me to tears to hear that. It's like, that is so
That
cool.
is
Yeah.
awesome. That
Yeah.
is awesome. It's amazing too when people get active and they find purpose. By the way, that's a lesson for everybody that's watching. When you find purpose, depression seems to go away, pain seems
Yep.
to go away.
Yep.
It's really, really incredible. Hey, what time did you end up cutting it off last night? By the way,
Uh,
did you go through till Trump spoke?
Oh yeah, we streamed
Okay,
the
good.
whole Trump speech, and then we did a little wrap up after that, and then when we ended the stream, Bruce and Ethan and I continued to chat, and Kevin was still there too, so we were continuing to chat on Zoom for a little bit after that, and then, hey Bruce, it's 3:30. What do you think about going to sleep? He's like, well, the door's closed. Natalie can't hear me. So like, all right, maybe you ought to take a nap too. Bruce looked fresh at the end of that. It was just amazing to see his stamina, and he was an excellent, excellent co-host. He was digging into the numbers, and he was 4 or 5 websites, and he was bringing stuff up. And every time, Bruce, what do you got? And it's like he always had something really good to share. And we're trying to keep the conversation. Sometimes goes off when you have that many people on, and we're trying to keep the conversation to the election because that's what we promised we would do. And so he was a really, really good help. It was amazing, how much work he put into it. He did a really good job. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the road warrior too. I spent so much time with Bruce, and when it's time to step up, you always know that Bruce is going to be there till the end. It's just amazing.
Yeah, no question. He's at another level. So I invited him on the show today, but I don't think he's recovered enough to do that. So well, we'll get him on. No problem. He'll be on the next show.
Yep.
Well, that's what I have for you today. Boy, oh boy, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling positive. I'm looking forward to what's coming. I think we are in for a good show. There's work to do. It's not going to be easy. They're not going to just hand the keys over to Donald Trump and say, "Here you go. Good luck." That transition of power thing is going to be hard. Um, who knows what they've got up their sleeve? I don't think it's over.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
it's over. I think Raskin. Let's see if he tries to pull from Shanann, right? And let's make sure we're focusing on these wonderful celebrities leaving the country. We'll manifest that.
Oh, you and I both. We cannot wait to make that happen. Lewis, thank you so
So,
much for being here. I know you're, taking a few days to take care of you. Real important to do. We've got some construction that's starting here tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy with that, and hopefully I get a haircut because it's growing long. It's just been not easy to get out of here. Have so much to do and so much work, so it's like we'll get it done. Maybe tomorrow. That'll be the day. I'll take off and go to get that done.
yeah, make it happen, brother.
You bet. Thank you, everyone. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us. So many of you stayed for the entire show last night. It was amazing. 7.5 hours. The numbers didn't dip more than, I think, 100 variants the whole time. It was incredible. So we appreciate all of you and all the kind words and comments and texts and messages. And boy, oh boy, we feel so blessed.